Like everybody, all people see SNEED. Okay. 6 years here. You ready? Hi everybody, Ken Mogensen here with SNEED Coding Solutions for our second Facebook Live event. Today we're going to be talking about some of our Summer Blowout Promotion and printers. We're going to be talking about some of the printers you see around here with me, but don't worry, you won't be hearing about them from me. Actually, with me today I have our Vice President of Technical Services, Charles Collins. Charles, if you'll join me here. Charles has been with us since day one. He has actually been in the coding and marking industry for well over a decade. Charles, I believe, continuous inkjet, valve jet, high resolution. I mean, just about any coding and marking inkjet technology.
Pretty much spits ink I've had to work on or to be involved with.
If it spits ink, he's worked on it, guys. So suffice to say, you know a little bit about what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I love this technology.
Well, great. Well, Charles, thanks for taking time out of your busy day supporting our customers and helping your team to join us in the audience today. Well, real quick, just one thing I want to touch on. You'll notice most of our printers here are actually thermal inkjet technology. A lot of different coding and marking inkjet technologies out there. Our preference at our company is a thermal inkjet. Ties into our motto and philosophy. You'll see it on a lot of our social media and a lot of on our website is keep coding simple. With some of these other technologies I know that you've worked on, you can speak to this. They can be complicated and just,
simple is not the way that they go.
Right, and so we you know, the owner of the company, he decided when he started this up that there's got to be a better way for companies to be able to do coding and marking without driving them crazy and causing costly downtime and maintenance and service. And we really believe thermal inkjet is the way. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our various printer models here. They're all thermal inkjet. It's all tied into that philosophy. Now we're going to talk about that summer blowout promotion as well. We got some special pricing on these printers that have been running this summer that are going to continue to run through the end of the summer at least, and then we'll see. But we also, I just lost my train of thought, of course. So we'll get into the different printer models, and at the end of the show today, if you tune in to the end, we'll try not to bore you to death, and we understand your time is valuable, but if you do stay to the end, we'll give you some information. We're going to do a little bit of some giveaways for those of you that are kind enough to join us today. If you do stick around to the end, we'll kind of tell you some of that information, which you can do.
Free stuff.
Free stuff, yeah, there you go, Charles. All right, well, enough of that. Enough of me talking about things. Let's kind of get started. So, Charles, I don't know. I think you wanted to start with our handheld printer here?
I mean, go with the one we sell the most of because, as Ken was saying, you know, we've concentrated on this technology. Thermal inkjet is very simple, and you can't get much simpler than for a lot of businesses, whether they're small or medium, starting into their coding and marking. This is a great entry point.
I'll go ahead and hand it to you, Charles, since you're the operational expert.
As you can see, it's handheld. Weighs just under 2 pounds, so it can be used all day long. Comes with a removable battery. This can be used up to 8 hours for intermittent, or if you're doing it coding over and over again, you got 3 or 4 hours. Cool thing is if you've got a spare battery, that can be on the charger and you swap them out when you're ready to go. Or if you forget to do that, as a lot of people do, you can actually plug it in and use it at the same time while it's charging the battery. So multifunctional. So and the nice thing about it is not only is it portable, battery powered, all that other fun stuff, everything is self-contained. You can do it all right here on the screen. Everything can be programmed directly here on the unit. So as you can see, we've got barcodes, text. We can do alphanumeric, lot, batch, date codes, you name it. It all works off of the thermal inkjet cartridge, which we'll show you here in a minute. And this encoder on the side, which basically, whether Ken happens to be printing or I happen to be printing, it's always going to come out looking the same.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thanks for that. That was a really great introduction there, Charles. So you mentioned the cartridges, and this is one of those cartridges. This is our thermal inkjet cartridge for the system. Now, with these cartridges, the print head, and that ties into what I was talking about earlier, right? Keep coding simple. The print head is inside the cartridge. Can you tell us what that means for the user and the operator?
So that means that pretty much on here you've got some rolling parts, but other than that, all the rest of this is just like your cell phone or your PC. There's no moving parts, no pumps, no diaphragms, anything like this that's going to wear out or you have to keep maintenance on. The only thing that you've got is the cartridge right here with your print head built in. So every time you get a new cartridge, you get a new print head. So you start off fresh, that simple.
Now, and if that's the case, so the print head's in the cartridge there, so I'm assuming like we got to make sure we take care of that cartridge.
That's as simple as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and set this down momentarily. We took the cartridge out of the storage clip that it comes in. When you're not using it, you just keep it clipped in this nice little storage clip. It keeps the nozzles from getting exposed to air and drying out. When you're ready to use it, you pop it out. We have our cloth set up over here. That's a lint-free cloth. That's the best thing for using or for cleaning the nozzles. And we're just going to give it a good quick wipe. That clears off any dried ink or debris. And then that's simple. We pop it into the printer here, and we are ready to go. As soon as I hit the print button, we're ready to start printing.
Okay, so I want to recap a couple things to make sure that we got everything there in terms of operation. So when they're printing with this, there's a finger trigger there, right? And so they squeeze the trigger and then they just roll. You mentioned this encoder. So this encoder wheel is very important, right? It has to make contact in order for it to be able to read what print speed it needs to print.
Exactly. You've got to be rolling this. So one of the things about any print system, all those that we talked about, is one key point. Either the printer's got to be moving, which is just like this, or the product has to be moving, which you'll see in some of our other products here. But this encoder is how the system knows that you're moving it along, so it doesn't print just out in the air.
In that case, it sounds like it's perfect for something flat like box. Okay. Well, enough talk. Let's see some action. Do you think you can print on this box for us, Charles?
Very, very easily. So we've got it all loaded in here. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG right here on the screen. We're going to hit the print button. It's going to take a look at the cartridge, verify that the cartridge is ready to print, has enough ink, and then we just pull the trigger, put it down, and start to roll. And as you can see, we keep coding simple.
Very nice. And then that's a very nice QR code we have printed there, Charles. Now, sometimes printing on boxes, you need to put a little bit more information on there. What if they needed to do like 2 lines of text like that? Understand that we're limited with the print head size. Is there any kind of function that we can do to be able to do that?
There's a couple of different options to do that. We'll touch on those real quick. First, we'll turn our print off, and then we're going to access our file browser. You can see we've got a couple of files in here. If you can't see those clearly, don't worry. But we've got a 2-line message. We'll show you what that looks like real quick. So we can do multiple lines within this 1/2 inch, and that's the one we're going to print on the jars here in a minute. But for this, we also have the ability, if you need to print addresses, multiple lines of large information, we're going to go to our group file setting here, and this is going to allow us to rotate through some pre-selected files. So our first one here says 1/2 inch. We're going to click print. When it's ready there, pull the trigger and we roll. All right, so now we've got our first line. As soon as I pull the trigger again, it prints the second line. And it'll just sit there and go back and forth between those two, or if you have 3 or 5 different codes, you can print those all in succession over and over again.
Very good. Okay. Well, so obviously it seems like this is a perfect option for folks that are trying to print on boxes. Now, I know that a lot of our customers, they need to print. Sometimes they don't have full-scale production for various reasons. If it's a startup business, like a craft brewer, or even if it's, we have a lot of startup businesses that are doing salsas and other things. They're filling jars by hand, but they need a date code if they want to, get into retail distribution. So how do they do something like that? Well, unlike, salsa jar here, so let's assume this is a salsa jar. How would they be able to print on that with the handheld printer?
That's his way of trying to get me to take him out for Mexican food for lunch. Anyway, so printing on something like that, of course, we would want to do a smaller text. So we're going to change this over to our 2-line code that we looked at a minute ago, our best by date. So as you can tell, this has got to roll along something, and it normally needs 4 to 6 inches worth of travel. So in order to do that, we offer a surface adapter, which gives you a nice little point right here to always get in the same starting position. We've got it marked here where we know where the print is going to begin. So I will demonstrate that real quick. I'm going to turn our print back on. Put that in position where I would like to print at. Pull the trigger and roll. And as you can see, we're right there on the lid.
That's a nice little Best Buy date there, Charles.
It makes it simple. So, Ken, you mentioned that we've both been here since the boss, Brian, started the business. So we have actually had some of our customers start off in their garage with a small business, and we've watched them grow and move into a lot of our other products. So Not only does this do this, but you also you've got a couple of other things that it'll do here too.
What about like a larger bottle or like this? Could you do something like print across the side here? Because that looks like it's about 4, 5, 6
So this
inches
is plenty
there.
of room here. We just put that on there. Again, we want to make sure that the rollers are making contact. Pull the trigger, and that's simple. If we were doing it on the lid, we wouldn't use the surface adapter again just to make sure we've got plenty of room to travel.
Okay. Well, then what about customers that are doing something like printing on like a black on black's not going to show up? We do have colors for this as well, correct?
That is one of the great things about this type of technology. So we've talked about the print head being in the cartridge. That means it's just as simple to change out colors as it is changing the cartridge. We take that out. Again, proper cartridge maintenance. Pop it into the storage clip, and we're going to reach over and we're going to grab.
Looks like this is the white, Charles.
Got it. Got the white cartridge here. Again, just taking it fresh out. We want to make sure we wipe it to remove any dried ink or anything like that. Put it into the printer, and now we've gone from black ink to white ink.
That's pretty significant, right, Charles?
Right.
Because normally with a lot of the other inkjet coating technologies, you don't just switch colors, right? Because there's valves and hoses and all of
Correct,
that
yeah,
ink. It's in the system.
Once
You
it's
can't just-
dedicated, it's dedicated.
Right. So that sounds like that's a really cool feature there for especially like co-packers or people that have different packaging materials, and that way they can use the same printer on a lot of different things.
So some of our customers will print on the bottom, which I'll show you that here in just a second, a nice easy way. Or you've got a nice surface that'll hold on to it. We're going to turn our print on real quick. And again, this is just long enough to be able to roll, but just to make sure we do it right for our Facebook Live here, I am going to use the surface adapter. And that's simple. We've got a Best Buy date on a black glass bottle.
Wow, look at that white. That's a really bright whiting.
Pops.
Now that seems a little bit cumbersome, and I've had customers explain, having the surface adapter and everything else can be cumbersome. But I know that we've seen customers get pretty creative with this, including like, for example, these same bottles. Have them in a box, flip it upside down, and then if our camera can come in here and folks can see, you'll see all the bottoms are facing here, right?
Yep. As Ken indicated, our customers are way more creative than we are because they have come up with all kinds of applications and they taught us how to do this. So they just line it up here, print directly on there, and go from one to the next.
Well, looks like that box is a little bit tipped up, but... So you see the box isn't all the way, it looks like there's a throw distance issue here, but that's just because that box gives it a little bit of a lip. If you're close enough to the bottom of that with the surface adapter, you would get that much better print sample. Like that. So depending on what kind of something, I'm glad actually, so that's a perfect segue into the thing about throw distance. So what you saw here is the one thing we're going to talk about it with the MX1 here coming up in a second too. One of the limitations, every technology does have limitations, is throw distance. Can you explain to them what that means, Charles?
Basically, that just means how far can the product be away from the print head, from the cartridge. So on here, it's real simple to measure that because we've got the rollers on the front. That's going to keep everything at constant distance. Now, as we added on a lip from the box and a little bit of this, that elevates that. But as you could tell, when we printed on here, we got a lot closer and a lot clearer. That does the same thing whether you're talking about one of our MX1s or our Freedom printers. Again, we just want to be as close as we can possibly get so we get a nice, crisp, clear print.
So that's a good thing to remember in terms of installation. If folks are thinking about buying one of these printers or thinking about this technology, is that throw distance. It's basically with any one of these printers, they want to make sure that they can, whether they're using a handheld or one of our other models that we'll be looking at, is to be able to get that print head within 6 millimeters, right?
That's going to be our maximum. But as I tell all of our customers, the closer the better. Just to make sure that you are getting the best quality print that you
Best
can
print
out of it.
quality. Certainly, that's good to know. Well, I think we've just about covered kind of the most of the things with this. So again, folks, this handheld printer, we see it a lot for folks that are in startup businesses that don't have full automation, but it's not limited to that. We also have full, co-packers and full industrial scale manufacturing businesses that use it for repack and recode. So, that's where you have boxes or things that are printed incorrectly and you need to reprint them. A lot of times you're having to run them back through your conveyor to reprint them because that's where your only coder is. But with this, you could go out to the warehouse on the pallet. You could just mark the pallet while they're still on the pallet without having to break down packages and things. So we see a lot of customers that really enjoy it for that. And also outside of packaging, part marking and things of that nature. So, but that's enough on that. If you want to see, we have an extensive library of customer application videos on YouTube and on our website. You can look up SNEEDcoding.com or SNEED Coding Solutions on YouTube, and you'll see that this handheld printer, we probably have close to 200 customer submitted videos of the printer in action in the field, and you'll see a lot of different uses for it.
I want to highlight that real quick. He said customer submitted. We haven't gone out and taken any of the videos, so everything you see on our website was shot by our customers, so it's their real life applications and their real life processes.
Well, that's about the extent of this. Now we see it, like you mentioned it earlier, which was great, Charles, about we have customers that start with this, and we watch their business grow, and eventually they get to the point where their production is increasing. And they just, as efficient as you can be with this, there are limitations. You can't, it's not an automatic machine. So what is kind of the next step up in terms of having a lot, date, and batch coder on their conveyor?
We'll use the example as you gave earlier, the salsa. So they've gone from filling the salsa by hand to now they've bought some equipment to fill it automatically. So they're doing 6, 10, 12 jars at a time. Well, if you're doing that many jars at a time, you probably want to have some sort of automation. So what comes next? A conveyor, and you don't want somebody standing there having to do it by hand, because again, you're working on scaling and getting that automation in there. So then you go to our MX1 printer. It utilizes the same cartridge. So if you've got both units, the ink is interchangeable. The unit itself comes with everything that you need to get up and print. It comes with the controller, it comes with the print head stall, all the brackets necessary, and it even comes with the sensor. Now that sensor is great at seeing boxes and bags. So for most standard applications, things that are dark or solid objects, if you will. For this application, we are actually printing on some clear jars and things. So we've set up a clear object detector. We offer a full line of sensors for the Meenjet series. So based on your application, you may need a specialized sensor, like printing on labels, clear objects, film where you've got registration marks, any number of things. Believe me, we've seen it all. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here.
It looks like that's a pretty simple, just like the handheld printer there, Charles. Just slap that cartridge in.
So I slide it in there at about a 45-degree angle to start with. That way we make sure we get it nice and flush. Put the cartridge in all the way before latching it. The latch is there to hold it in place, not put it in place. And that way we make sure we're all the way up at the front here.
One quick question, Charles. So yeah, I know you talked about everything that's included. You said all the brackets are included for them to install it and set it up on their printer. It looks like you got the white ink there. We're gonna get that black ink in there for you. What about setup? I mean, is this something that you're gonna have to come out, or somebody from your team is gonna have to come set up for them?
Well, I mean, this is how simple this technology is. I didn't set any of this up. I actually let Ken set it all up. So if we can teach a salesperson to do this, anybody can do this.
And then what about?
That's coming from a previous salesperson, guys.
But do we have? And we have videos that break it down step by step online. And then also, how else? If they have questions, are they able to get in touch with your team?
So we've got lots of different ways to help you out with this. First and foremost, we've got videos broken down anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes that cover all the different pieces of how to input your message, change it, alter it, even get it all set up. If you still have questions, we have an online chat. We've got a support email, and you can always just give us a call at 833-926-3464, and we'll happily walk you through anything. And the nice thing is once you order one of these, before you receive it, you're going to get an email from us that's going to allow you to schedule a printer introduction call. So if you want to go over anything, we've got it ready to go. You've got time set aside with us, and we're going to help you get through the process and get it set up.
All right, well, let's go ahead and just show them a couple of quick, I know you got some samples over there we can print on.
We're going to print on a couple of jars here, just to take a quick look.
So we got a glass jar and a plastic jar there, and we're going to be able to print on both.
We're going to be able to print on both.
Okay.
Using the same exact ink. This is our JS12. It's our fast dry solvent-based ink. As you will notice from the controller here, it looks just the same as our handheld. So once you get to know the controls on one, you can navigate the other. The MX1 does have a few extra features, such as the ability to take external data and things like that. And it also has the ability to use the encoder, which we're using here. So just to let you know, that's how similar the systems are. Once you get to know one, it's very similar to operate the other.
All right, well, let's go ahead and fire this.
Turn the print on there before we try and print. There we go.
All right, so it shows printing. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if we can get, it's kind of hard with the lighting. You can kind of see it there.
And then right here on the plastic.
There we go. Best Buy SNEED. All right. Well, that's that's a great system there. Now with that cartridge, it has a 1/2-inch print head in it. So that's going to be the maximum size it can print.
That's going to be as tall as it'll print. As you saw here on the box, this is our maximum print height, which high resolution print like this means that if you were printing with a dot matrix style or valve jet style print and you were doing 3/4 of an inch or an inch, you could probably get away with squeezing down to a 1/2 inch because you can see this from a lot further away and it's a lot clearer to the eye.
Okay, but let's say that, you know, in those box printing, a lot of times, whether it's because of Walmart regulations, barcode regulations, or just visibility in a warehouse, customers need larger print.
Most definitely.
And I know we have another system that has that we're going to talk about here. It's the same technology, but the cartridge is different. Correct?
That is
I'll let
correct.
you go ahead. And...
All right. So they use the same thermal inkjet technology. So we're going to go ahead and take a cartridge out and take a quick look at it. You can see the big difference is the size of the print head that's available. What we have over here is our Freedom series printers. There's a Freedom. We've got a Freedom single head unit, but these are the Freedom 21 and 22. The 21 is a 2-head system all stitched into one. That way you can create up to a maximum 2-inch character. And then we've got the Freedom 22, which is 2 separate heads. So if you need to print on both sides of the box or the top and side of the box, you've got multiple configurations available.
Now these systems are so they're going to be like the MX1. They're going to come with a controller and the print heads and basically everything they need to get these set up.
Exactly. So everything that you need is in the box. You'll notice for these for our demonstration purposes, we've got these mounted on stands. These stands are available if your application calls for them, but these systems are designed to be mounted directly to your conveyor,
case
sealer, flow wrapper, or any number of transport devices and packaging devices.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's go ahead. I know you got some boxes over there in the corner, Charles. If you'd be so kind, I guess I'll go ahead.
Make sure we've got the print turned on these.
All right. Let's do that. That's why I brought you in here, Charles, because
I've made that mistake plenty of times myself.
All right. So we got print on. We're good to go. We'll go ahead and fire this bad boy up. Uh-oh. Looks like our guide rail got a little bit
That would be me bumping into everything here. So I'm just going to go ahead. Nope. And there we go.
Apologize, folks. Looks like
technical difficulties. That's why he's got me here, right?
All right. Look good.
that is my fault. You watched me bump into it. All right. So this is part of the bloopers reel. Hopefully y'all are capturing all this. It's all right. We got it. There we go.
All right.
All right. See,
human error happens, but
less than a minute or two, we're up and fixed.
So it looks like we got our 2-inch print here, 4 lines of text with a QR code, but we could easily do 1-inch text. You'll see here, print 2 sides. That's from our side print head with a full 1-inch print height, and we also did a barcode across the top there as well. So that, again, maintenance free, right? So there's no service or maintenance. These are also self-installation. Folks can get these set up on their own with the help of our videos and tutorials.
Most definitely. It's that simple.
Okay. Well, I think that just about we covered all of our machines here. Again, folks, we're running a summer blowout special on these printers. We have our Meenjet MX1 and our M6 handheld. Now the M6 handheld is $399 during the summer blowout. Regular price is $699. The MX1 is $699. That's right. You heard me correctly. $699. And that, again, is going to come with everything that Charles has been talking about, your brackets, everything you need to set up. The only thing we typically sell separately is going to be ink cartridges. And then on the case coders over here, during our summer blowout special, those are running for $999 for a 2-inch case coder. We feel like that's a pretty phenomenal deal there.
We'll find another printer out there for that same price.
And again, I promise you guys for sticking around and waiting for us and listening to our demonstration here. We are doing a little bit of a giveaway for those of you folks that are joining us. So if anybody that purchases by Friday, so you have until Friday to get on our website and purchase any one of these printer models. You'll find them all listed on the website. In the comments section, when you check out, you can type in Facebook Live. Just type in Facebook Live in the comments field, check out, and you'll receive a free ink cartridge with your purchase. So that's for today. And then also anybody that purchases a printer by Friday that uses that word Facebook Live in the comments section, we'll draw a raffle for a free printer of your choosing from one of these models. So whether you buy an MX1 and then maybe you want an M6 handheld, whoever wins, any one of these models you can get for free. So again, just because that's why everybody's here, I'm sure, is to try to see what they can get for free, right? Check out by Friday, end of the week. We have 3 days. That way, in case you have any questions, again, you can call the number that Charles said, 833-9-CODING, 833-926-3464, and you can talk to one of our experts in case you have any questions about your application. You want to make sure it's a good fit for you. But if you purchase by Friday, again, you get a free ink cartridge with your purchase, or in this case over here, 2 free ink cartridges, because you'll need 2 for that system, and you'll get entered into a raffle to win a free printer. That's really all we have for you today. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. We know it's valuable. Charles, thank you for joining me. Also, I want to thank Daniel for helping us out on the camera, if you want to say hi, Daniel. And I want to thank Richard for being our producer behind the scenes over here and making sure that the broadcast is streaming live. Until next time, guys, keep coding simple and have a great week.
And don't forget to like and share and everything else to get this message out there. Everybody needs to know, come get some new printers. Thanks, guys.
Done. 200.